All right, guys, welcome. We see that you're already in the chat. That's sweet.
Yes, I'm pulling it up on my phone.
Gotta turn us down, make sure that we don't hear that. Well, another week, guys. Another week's gone by. Still in the same quarantine.
Still quarantined.
Yeah, that's about it.
I mean, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so that's fun.
That's true.
If you guys have plans, let us know what you guys are up to. We are looking forward to some fun plans this weekend.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited that at least the governor's been loosening up some of the regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we're getting closer and closer to hopefully being able to come back together at some point.
Yep.
So
for sure.
That's an exciting thing.
Yeah. It's always fun to have a 3-day weekend, so that'll be enjoyable to kind of take a breather this weekend. And
that's true. Yeah.
We'll probably get out of the house maybe a little bit more, get some fresh air.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's supposed to be a nice weekend. I think that, Monday is supposed to rain, but I think the other parts of the weekend are supposed to be nicer. So at least it'll be good enough weather to hopefully be able to get outside, do something outdoors. I know for me, I don't know, I feel more antsy even when I just have to stay in the house. But when I know that even if I can go into the backyard or something, for some reason I don't get quite as antsy. So there's a lot of times in the day where I'll all of a sudden be just I gotta get outside and I'll take Charlie out and we'll just for a half an hour throw a frisbee around, and of course he loves it, and then it helps me feel like I at least got out and did something in the day. So yeah.
Yeah, hopefully this weekend with it being nicer, we can get Charlie outside a little bit more, give him a little more exercise and activities to do. He gets really antsy when he's cooped up all the time.
That's true.
He's been going a little bit bonkers. So hopefully this weekend with the nice weather, we can get outside a little more.
Yeah, he's funny. It's you'd think a dog doesn't know that quarantine's going on, but he definitely acts okay, I want to go do something. Can we go somewhere else and hang out? So yeah. Well, I don't know. Have we done anything that's exciting? Kitchen project's still going on, and the kitchen project's still going on pretty much.
This week is fun. This week we get to celebrate our 3rd anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to believe it's been 3 years since we got married.
Yeah, that's true. It's been it feels like it's not that long, but then you think of all the events that have actually taken place in that amount of time, and then it's whoa.
Especially just in the last year. I didn't even think about. Yeah, it was. We graduated on the 18th. So 2 days ago, it was 1 year since we graduated from college. We packed up our stuff in our apartment. We moved out of our apartment. We moved from Illinois to Michigan. We kind of lived in limbo for 2 nights. We stayed at your parents' house, and then we actually there was a couple days or a couple weeks or something, and then we ended up moving into our house on our anniversary. And there were boxes everywhere and furniture stacked on top of furniture, and it was crazy.
Or my office space where it's kind of at the front of our house. It was just the whole thing was filled with boxes from floor to ceiling, and we slowly would take out the boxes and put them in the separate rooms that they're supposed to be in. And then
I did a great job helping pack things up though, because I labeled every box of what room it needed to go to, so that when we moved, people who were helping us move were able to just put it where it needed to go.
Yeah. But then we did have quite a few boxes that were kind of I don't know where to put these, and so they ended up in just what we considered our storage room at that time. But then that was the room that actually I remodeled for our baby boy that's going to be coming. So we got everything out of there.
The last couple months we had a lot of organizing and unpacking still. But just in the last year, we started our jobs at the church, we graduated, we moved, we bought a house, we moved into our house, we bought a dog, got pregnant.
Yeah.
We're going to be mommy and daddy pretty soon.
Just a few things have happened.
It's been a really crazy year for us, but it's been a good year. So a lot has happened in just this one last year, but in the 3 years since we got married, we've been through a lot. We've done a lot. We went through a lot of tough days in school and hard jobs that we worked as students. That was crazy. There were weeks where we'd work I mean, you'd have your crazy weeks where you'd work like 60 to 80 hours a week, but we wouldn't have school those weeks. There were weeks where I'd be like full-time student in class like all day, but then I'd also be working like 30 hours during that week. And so I wouldn't be home from 6:30 in the morning until 8 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
Those were long days. So I'm glad that those days are behind us. Like, they happened, they were good, they were fun.
It's a little slower now. I mean, like, we still hang out with you guys, which makes it interactive and quite active, but like it's not quite the same. It's like a fun busy. It's not a stressful busy, because for us it was like you had this due date for a paper that was due, and so you're like trying to get that done, but then you also are working, and so like definitely now is a lot nicer being able to do this.
I'm catching up.
And then of course like now being in quarantine is like polar opposites to what we've ever really done, because we've always been really active, always doing
super
things.
Busy. Even with our jobs here, like we work at the church the first half of the day. Brad would coach in the afternoons. I would work at the coffee shop in the afternoons. I wouldn't get home till like 7.
Sometimes I had football games or basketball games, or was going to be track meets in the evenings.
Yeah, we were gonna have really like we like being busy. We like staying busy, having things to do and places to be, but then we also like being able to take a day or two on the weekend to slow down and just be together and focus on our family. So, yeah, lots have changed in 3 years. That's true. I don't regret any of it.
Oh, that's good. Neither do I.
I'm glad that I said I do. So, yeah. Well, looking at some of the comments here. Some of them were wishing us happy anniversary, so thank you.
Guys.
Yeah, you guys should see pictures of Brad on our wedding day. He was bad.
I still look back at that. My haircut didn't turn out quite how I wanted it to. It wasn't bad. Like, if somebody looked at it, they would have been like, that's a normal cut. But for me,
it was, you were like clean shaven, but then they cut his hair a little bit too short.
Yeah.
And like didn't give it a lot of shape at all. And so he kind of like, it made him look like he had a baby face.
Yeah.
So it's funny because like, I mean, like I've changed a little bit in the last 3 years, but I look pretty similar to what I did then. And then it was like baby Brad and Bri.
And I didn't have any facial hair. So at that point, like I was really just baby face. And I mean, it was kind of funny because like I really liked a haircut that I started to get into, but then it didn't happen for our wedding. But it was all by accident too, because we were out in Washington State one summer that I was working out there, and like I needed my haircut, and I went to a barbershop that I didn't really know about, but I saw good reviews on, and they started to cut my hair. It was kind of a ghetto
barbershop too. Like,
yeah, well, no, it was kind of a cool like retro place.
It was like a man cave.
Yeah.
Like a legit man cave.
The right description for it.
It wasn't like your typical barbershop or like a hair salon. It was like a man cave that had guys hiding in there that cut hair.
Yep. So I went there, and Bri did not go with me at that time. And so he's like cutting my hair, and it was looking pretty much normal like I would get in the past. But then all of a sudden he's like, hey, do you want to part in your hair? And I'm like, and I had no clue what that was. So I was like, yeah, sure. Like, that's fine. And then all of a sudden he like starts peeling back my hair right here, and he takes a straight razor and starts just shaving into my head, going all the way back. And I'm like, is he gonna cut all my hair off? Like, I was thinking this was gonna become like a buzz cut or something. And so I'm like freaking out, and like he gets done, and I like look, and he shows me in the mirror, and he's like, hey, does it look good? And I'm like, uh-huh.
This was right after we got married, or was this no?
It was when we were dating.
The first summer when we were dating, right?
Yeah. But I like.
Oh, it was so funny.
Head home to like Bri's parents' house, and like I walk in, and I kind of like turn my head when Bri sees me, and I'm like, hey, like she's like, hey, it looks good, like your haircut looks good, and I'm like, uh-huh. And then I like turn my head this way, and then like she sees like the cut all the way back in the back, and she's like, I like it. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about it. But now, as you guys have seen,
he's cut his hair that way every time since.
Yeah, that's just kind of become my thing that I really like. So
that was funny.
But that didn't happen during the wedding.
No, that one was when we were dating. They're talking about quarantine birthdays. Some of them had a picnic.
Yeah, I thought I saw a couple other things, but I don't remember. It was so far back now. Well, do we want to open it up to questioning?
I think so. I think I
If
don't
they
know if you
actually
guys
have
have any other
questions
questions for us, but we'll have some Q&A time real quick, and then we'll jump into our game for the afternoon.
Or actually, let's really quick give just some updates of Amplify
that would be
things.
good.
We'll probably, I don't know if we're going to send out an email. I'm not going to say we are. but
My plan is to send out
Okay.
an email either this afternoon or tomorrow.
Okay, so, well, you guys are kind of getting the preview of what's going to be in that email, but for us right now, we've been really trying to think through, okay, what are we going to be going forward now with like small groups, Wednesday lives, and like we've been just thinking through it. Technically, this last week was the last message of all of our series that we were going to be going through for Amplify this year.
That was going to be our end of the year Amplify evening party.
Yeah. So we were going to kind of wrap it up in general for Amplify last Sunday. But because of COVID, now we're trying to figure out, okay, what's it look like? Because we may not be able to, in the next week or two, be able to come together and do some like fun activities, but like where can we go forward? And at this current moment, our plan is for the next 2 Sundays until like through May, that we won't be having our Sunday night small groups, but we will still continue to be having our YouTube lives. So you'll still have this going on for the next 2 weeks, and then we'll also not be having the Sunday night live or Sunday night small groups.
Yeah. So
and then we'll evaluate.
Through May, we'll have our Wednesday going live. But Sunday nights, we're going to go with what our schedule originally was. So this weekend, especially because this weekend's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
I know like we have plans to kind of hang out this weekend and enjoy the weekend. And I know that probably some of your families might have plans. And so we won't have small groups this Sunday. And then the next Sunday, we'll follow the schedule and not have it. And then starting in June is when we would plan to start doing some of our summer activities. So hopefully the next 2 weeks will give us time to get some updates from the governor of what June will look like. And then we can start making some plans and assessments on what activities can be permitted in June, what's going to be wise to do, what the church is going to allow to have done. So there's just a lot of decisions to be made in the next 2 weeks. So
we just asked for grace because as we start looking at June, we don't know what it's going to look like. It may not be completely normal to what we had last year for our events. Yeah. There may be some restrictions on how our events take place. We just don't know. So we'll just ask that you guys be gracious towards us as we try to navigate both the governor's restrictions and also us still having our Amplify together. So
yeah. But given if we get to the end of May and things are still locked down as they are now, then we will still look at doing things on Sunday night as like an alternative Amplify option. But if things are lifted more and we can transition from our typical youth group Sunday night small groups to summer activities, whether it's like water wars or camp out type stuff or like s'more stuff, then obviously like we want to do fun summer stuff with you guys for a while in the summer. So we're just kind of giving it 2 weeks to figure out what is going to change. I'm saying this because I'm reading their comments and they're like, wait, no small groups? What are you talking about? So just clarifying, only for the next 2 weeks for now, for the next 2 Sundays, no small groups, but we will be doing our Wednesday lives and then we'll reevaluate what June will look like. And if we can do fun summer stuff, we definitely want to get going on some of that. But if we can't yet, then we'll either do small groups or some virtual hangout stuff. So we're kind of praying through and figuring that out now. So hang in there, guys. We're not abandoning you. We're not forgetting about you. We're looking at how to make things bigger and better as the weeks and months come. So
I don't think that we have any other announcements other than that for Amplify. So
yeah. So if you guys have questions, shoot some questions our way. We can do some Q&A. If you guys want stories, if you guys like story time, we can share stories. Can you read those little words?
Yeah.
I used to be able to.
Darn Bri has it like on her phone right here.
That's why I have to have my phone because
I can see it on the
changes
screen.
my eyes apparently. Like my friend had like perfect eyesight and then she got pregnant and after she had her baby, her eyesight was so messed up that they're like, oh, we'll give it 6 months and see if it fixes itself, and it didn't. And so now, like, one of my best friends has to wear glasses or contacts because pregnancy ruined her eyes. So we'll see. But
there we go.
I'm following along here as Brad can look all cool and just watch you guys and read the comments. I'm like, Megan says she has questions.
Color in the sky.
What color is the sky?
Blue.
False. The color of the sky being blue is a reflection of the ocean.
So then what color is it?
Nothing. It's a pigmentation reflection.
Well, it's white, isn't it?
Clouds are white. I don't know. Because then at night, it changes. It's not white anymore. The sky is like a reflection of other things. Mind blown, guys.
And they're still talking about your eyes.
I see that.
You messed up all of this questions.
Hey, it's interesting though. Like, it's crazy how many things change when you're pregnant.
Is your hair naturally colored?
Naturally colored?
Well, I'm assuming, is your hair natural, like the color that you have right now?
Is that the question? Okay, yes.
I'm assuming
my hair right now is natural. This is gotta move forward. This is my natural hair color. Naturally, I have like highlights in my hair. Given how long it was, like two years ago, I got a little bit of extra coloring in my hair to lighten it up on the ends.
Basically.
The very ends of my hair has a little bit left of that, but everything that you see is pretty much my natural hair color. So I lucked out in life, and I have natural highlights just built into my head. Saves me hundreds of dollars. Although I thought about with summer, depending on, if salons open up again, that I might have fun getting another balayage and lightening up my hair and cutting it and thinning it out and all the good stuff that I haven't been able to do for.
Other question was, is your hair naturally curly?
It is. Not like this kind of curl, because this is curled like with a curling iron or like a wand. But yes, my hair naturally is curly. It used to be stick straight when I was little. And the older I got, the curlier it got. And so I don't know how I got a curly hair gene, because my mom and dad both don't really have curly hair. But my sister has super curly hair. And then all my other sisters have like straight hair. And then I'm kind of an in-between, but it gets curlier. So.
The other question was, when did Brad have a crush on Bri?
Ooh, that's a good question, Brad. When did you first have a crush on me? Like a real crush on me?
Probably the summer.
The summer that I was here.
Like, I was kind of interested in Bri a little bit when we went out. For those of you that don't know, my brother married her sister. And so that when we went out to the wedding in Washington State, that's when I first met Bri. At that time, there was another person that I was interested in. And so I felt conflicted at that moment. And so I was still trying to figure out.
There was a guy that I also liked at the time. So when we met, we were interested in different people.
We weren't dating anybody, but we were just interested in
something. It was like those awkward, when you kind of are interested in someone, you kind of have a crush on them, but it's not really determined or official. And then you're wondering if you should pursue things or not, and you're not really pursuing it, and it's just super complicated. That's what it was.
Yeah. So I think at that time, I was like, she's
relationship
nice.
Status was, it's complicated.
Yeah. She was nice at that time, and I was like,
Me?
Hey, okay. And I was like, this is a person that, like, I could definitely see us being good friends. And so, like, we kept up communication over a period of time. But then when you came out that summer to work at Five Pines, that was really when I started to have a crush on you.
Yeah. You were conflicted. I liked you a lot more than you liked me a lot earlier on.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, I had crushes on a couple guys that I was friends with, and I was interested in some of them. But then when I met Brad, I was like, whoa, this is what a godly, really cool guy is like. So right off the bat, I really liked Brad better than, like, any of the other guys I had been interested in. So quickly, the guys I was interested in were, like, off the radar. Because I met Brad, and I was like, this is a guy worth fighting for. But Brad took a little bit longer to come around because he was really conflicted and felt really, like, torn.
Well, the person that I was interested in, I had been interested in for quite a few years.
Yeah.
So
then you stopped talking to me for a while. Like, you talked to me a lot at first.
Yeah.
And then you, like, ignored me for a couple months. Completely. And then you talked to me again, and you're like, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have ignored you. And I was like, thanks, bro. Let's be friends. And then pretty quick after you reached out to me again, you invited me to Michigan for the whole summer. And that was kind of our adventure of like, okay, well, we can't really get to know each other super well when we're 2,000 miles apart. And his parents and my parents were, good friends at that point because they had children that already got married to each other. So they were like, yeah, have Bri come out and work at Five Pines and serve in ministry. And I had a lot of stuff going on at home with like friends and church that I needed a break from anyways. Mm-hmm. And so then that summer, Brad kind of officially was interested in me, and I confirmed how interested in Brad I really was. We were just talking about that the other day, though, about all the sweet memories of, like, the awkwardness of we never said that we liked each other that whole summer at all.
It wasn't until that fall after you left.
When I came back
and you came back for my state cross-country meet.
Yeah, I really liked him, guys. I flew 2,000 miles to watch him run a race that took him, 17 minutes? 16 minutes?
16 and a half minutes.
Yeah. That's commitment right there. I traveled, for a full 12 hours to get over there. Didn't sleep through a whole night of traveling. Was super, super exhausted. Got to the meet, watched him run for, 16 and a half minutes, and that was that. But it worked because then, that weekend we had to finally communicate where we were at with things because it was getting a little awkward.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they've definitely been posting a ton while we've
been
talking.
Yeah, that's good. We got into story time, so they got to think of more questions. A while ago, Matthew had said that he had a question, but he never posted his question. So, Matthew, if you have a question, feel free to post that. I already answered the questions about my hair. Josh is like, but Bri, all color is just light reflecting in a certain way. So you could say that red is actually not red and then it's just a reflection. It is true. When you say what color is something, it really is just a reflection of a pigmentation of something else.
Okay. We don't need my mind blown too much today.
It's cool. Science is cool, you guys. I was really bad at it in school, but science is cool.
I loved biology. That was my favorite subject. Advanced bio was amazing.
Zach asked, have you gone fishing before? Yes.
Yeah, you have too.
And, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Brad grew up kind of fishing.
Yeah, my parents with their pond, we actually have fish in our pond. And so, I would catch bass out of that. I would catch bluegill. And then I actually have gone out to, the St. Joseph River and done some steelhead fishing. Mm-hmm. So
my first time that I ever went fishing was with Brad when I came out here. For the very first time after our brother and sister got married, they had a reception out here, and so my family came out. And then I stayed for an extra day or two and got to kind of see Michigan and see the lake. And Brad taught me how to go fishing in the pond, and that was the first time I ever went fishing, and I caught a fish. I released it, but I caught a fish.
Yeah, I think you even took it off did you take it off the?
You did the first couple.
And then you
eventually I did it, but fish still kind of scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
They're just kind of floppy. And
when I was little, we would be so bad because we used to have this blow up trampoline in the center of our pond. So you could bounce, and then shoot yourself off into the pond. But for some reason, we thought it would be great to grab fish food and put fish food all around the trampoline. Mm-hmm. And then we would bounce, and then bounce right into where all the fish were eating. It was so dumb because
so gross.
No, it wasn't the gross. It was that their little fins on the top of their
yes,
back, those would slam into you and they would spike you.
Those hurt, especially when they get spooked. They flare those things out.
Yeah, and so we would do that, and we would come out with poked holes in our back or our
I don't think you've ever told me this before. That's terrible. Yeah.
What else?
Megan asked, how many pairs of shoes do you have? Megan, I think you were missing the last couple weeks we did this because that question's been asked before. Basically, Brad has some and I have a ton.
She has 60 and I have 20. Moving on.
Yeah, I need to go through my shoes. I have a huge tote of shoes that I just need to get rid of because I don't wear them anymore. Favorite candy? Yours is Milky Way.
Yeah.
But we've said anything with chocolate and caramel
Mm.
really is like a favorite of yours.
Yeah.
Milky Way is your go-to.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, can we go get some chocolate after this?
Yeah, we should get some chocolate.
I kind of want some chocolate. That sounds really good. Mine used to be Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. It tends to still be my favorite.
Yeah, I still like it.
I still really like it, but I feel like it was my favorite for so long that I had so much of it that I like branching out a little bit now.
Oh, you and I like Marlenka. What are they called?
Jessica, if you're watching, what is the delicious Milka? I think
it's called Milka.
Jessica, if you're watching, you can let us know what it is.
I'm pretty sure it's called Milka. It's from the Czech Republic.
Well, it's like German,
it's
Czech,
German,
European something.
chocolate.
But we can actually buy it here now. It's starting to sell here. And it is the most incredible, creamy, sweet.
Yes. It's just amazing.
It's just the best. It's so good. So it's a purple chocolate bar, and I think it is Milka.
Yeah. I think it's Milka is that one, and then Marlenka is like a
those
little
are the
ball.
Little bar.
No, they're a little ball.
Oh, yeah.
And they have like this like filling in it that's so good as well. Like,
I don't
and it's
like
made
those
out
as
of
much.
honey.
The Milka ones are super good. And Milka has tons of different flavors. Like they have an Oreo one. And like especially when you're in Europe, they have so many different flavors of it.
So that's probably our
mutually
favorite.
Milka chocolate is like the best. We consider
but
after
if it's if it's like an American snack, like definitely Milky Way for me.
Ghirardelli chocolate I really like.
Yeah.
The Ghirardelli chocolate squares with the caramel inside, those are good
too.
Yeah, Jessica just texted back and said, "Oh yeah, Milka chocolate has purple packaging." So yes, it's Milka that we're thinking of that we really like. And after we got back from our mission trip in the Czech, we almost bought like a big box shipped to us of Milka chocolate bars, and then we decided not to because we found like on Amazon that we could buy.
I think it was hard because it was like you could pay like $16 for the chocolate, but then like shipping was like $16. So it was like, do we really want to buy like the same amount for what it would cost the chocolate as the shipping is? So it was going to be hard for us. I think we decided against it, but
yeah, we were really close to like caving though, because we had bought a couple bars coming back.
I would maybe buy the Marlenka. I really like those too.
But you can get those here.
Not the Marlenka. You can buy Milka.
No, I've seen the Marlenka ones here too. I'm pretty sure. But
they're like, what are you talking about?
Jessica, if you ever want to really love on us, just send us chocolate from the Czech, and we will love you forever and ever.
Yeah.
Like, we love the chocolate, you guys, in Europe is just so good.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even describe how
Europe,
good it is.
They have this one called Tridelnik, and it's
that's not chocolate.
It's not chocolate, but homemade ice cream, like basically homemade soft serve ice cream.
Probably butchering how to pronounce it too. Like Jessica can say it like.
But it's like ice cream, and then there's this cone that's like
like a donut.
Yeah, it's like a donut with like
cinnamon and sugar
all around it, and it's like
filled
just
with
this
ice
huge
cream.
cone filled with ice cream.
And then you can choose toppings like chocolate syrups and caramel syrups and. Like,
and I don't know, it's not like donuts here. It's so
like a thin,
different.
More like a pastry.
And they make them fresh
fluffy.
To order. They're like pulling them off the thing and like wrapping them up right there.
So
like,
good. We shared one at first because we're like, those are
and
good.
We
can share one.
Separate
and
ones.
then later we're like, we really need to really indulge in this because we don't get these in the States. And so then we each got one. And by the time we finished it, we both were like,
oh, go throw up.
And then we decided to run up a whole staircase all the way up to the top of a castle on the top of a huge hill.
Yeah, that's true.
And we were like ready to puke.
Yeah.
Fun memories of our mission trip in the Czech Republic. Stick around in the ministry. Maybe we'll take.
Look at this. You guys get to hear so many things based off of one question.
I know. We're so entertaining. But yeah, I mean, our dream would be to be able to lead a mission trip to the Czech Republic, with the organization that Jessica works for. So stick around in the ministry, guys. Maybe you'll get a chance to go to the Czech Republic and eat some really good chocolate and teach people about Jesus. It's a great opportunity. Megan, I know you have a bunch of questions. I'm going to skip over some of them because I know that we've answered some of these before. What fish is your favorite? That's a question from Zach. We haven't had that one before.
If it's a fish from like Lake Michigan,
Yeah.
I would probably say like bluegill would be my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the flavor of that. And then if it's probably like a fish from like ocean, probably salmon, I would say. I've had
Salmon?
octopus, and I've
I'm
had
a
some
really picky
interesting
salmon
things.
person though, because like you can get salmon anywhere, but I grew up on the West Coast where like our fish, any restaurant you went to, even if it was like a small pop-up thing, like every fish order that you got, oh, I'm craving fish now. This is not good.
We're gonna go buy chocolate and fish.
Chocolate fish. Don't ask questions about food to the poor regulated guys. This is not nice. But in Washington, all of our fish is like fresh catch of the day anywhere you go. So I'm a really picky fish person because some stuff here is like fresh catch of the day, if it's from the lake or the rivers. But a lot of fish in the Midwest also is just like packaged, shipped, frozen, defrosted, and cooked.
Yeah.
Because they'll say like, oh, it's shipped from the West. It's like a West Coast or a Pacific, whatever. And you're like, oh, yummy. But really, in order for them to get it here, they like freeze it and package it, and it totally.
There are some places though that we found that will actually fly in fresh fish from like either the Atlantic or the Pacific Oceans.
But it was good fish.
Yeah.
That was in
I think that was for
Illinois.
our graduation.
No.
Because they had the option.
It was our internship. It was when our host family for our internship knew that I was a fish snob because I grew up on the West Coast, and they treated us to a really nice dinner with some really, really good fish. It was super good.
Yeah.
So yes, as far as my favorite fish, it just depends on location and where the fish is coming from, because like fish tastes very different in different places. So I can't really say like this is my favorite fish because it tastes totally different here than it does somewhere else or vice versa.
What else?
Okay. What color before God made anything, even color, what would it look like? Matthew's like, please answer this question. What would color look like before God made anything? I don't know. There was nothing. Like that's what the Bible's like. There was nothing.
Well, isn't black technically the absence of light? And isn't light what actually makes color?
Maybe.
So probably black then?
I mean, we think darkness, blackness, like there was nothing. The world was void of everything. And then, I mean, there was God. But then it was like... I'm
going to go with black.
Yeah. I'll go with you on that. Don't quote us on that. That's just kind of on the spot. I'm going to assume that Megan meant marriage and not marriage.
Okay.
But what is your biggest marriage struggle? That's a deep question, guys.
Communication.
Probably. Yeah. Communication. It can be the biggest strength and the biggest weakness depending on how you use it and if you use it.
And depending on the day.
And the day. And if you're pregnant or not. But yeah, even like yesterday, there was like, in the last couple of days, there were ways that like you might try to communicate to someone and you think like, I am totally and perfectly communicating this. And they're not getting it at all. And then you end up feeling like hurt, like they're just not listening to me. But the reality is like what you were communicating was not being received. And so then, and it goes both ways. But then you re-communicate and you work it out and it's great. But yeah, communication is probably a big marital struggle, especially communicating differences in opinion. Because like there are times where we have to learn to just agree to disagree and we have different priorities or different opinions on something.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to communicate and then humble yourself during a difficult conversation.
I see one of the questions. You can keep where you are in yours, but I saw Big B or Starbucks.
What's coffee?
Well, yes. So I mean, they're all like talking about
coffee.
And so I think honestly, like Starbucks, I'll have if we're out like on a vacation or something, and I know that's a coffee place. Like doing the Big B is another place that I'll go to. But if I have options of where I can go to, I think like Woods Coffee is definitely Bri and my favorite out in Washington State. We actually will order some of their coffee beans and send them to us. And then we really do like like second to that would probably be Revived Coffee, and then there's a couple places that I really like in St. Joe that have some good coffees, but they're not like, I don't know where they exactly come from, but they taste really good. So I think that if Big B and Starbucks were the only options of what I'm choosing from, then I'd probably say Starbucks. But maybe that's also because I have a little bit of a heart towards Starbucks now.
You read that book.
Because I read a book by the previous CEO of the company, and it was him sharing kind of the whole startup of Starbucks and their heart behind it. And so I felt like after reading that, I connected a little bit more with them. And so I feel like I'd probably go with Starbucks between the two. Okay, continue. What's the other question?
Yeah, I'm quickly trying to scroll through some and catch up a little bit.
But coffee in general is like prime for me. Like, I love coffee. And I love making it in different ways. Like, I have almost every option that you can think of coffee like things. Like, even yesterday, I was on the staff meeting call, and I'm making a pour over, and so I'm using my little gooseneck and like.
I feel like depending on what my favorite coffee place is, it depends on my day and the environment that I want. Because like Dunkin' Donuts to me is a lot like Big B. Like to me, they're kind of similar. But then like Starbucks, Revive, Woods Coffee is like our favorite one in Washington. Those ones are a little bit more specialty, creative, custom coffee drinks. The other ones are more like your grab and go coffee.
Well, and there's a big difference between the flavors that you're getting it from, the amount of like, is it a dark roast, light roast, medium roast, and then even like the fact of what type, like how are they doing it? Is it a drip coffee that's just coming straight out of a coffee pot? Is it like a specialty drink where they're actually doing a pour over or a French press? And so I feel like the hard thing is you could totally go to a place and just have a drip coffee, but that's not really what they specialize in. And you're like, wow, that was a terrible place. But then you go back and you get one of their drinks and you're like, whoa, this is like a nice specialty drink. So.
Yeah. So like for me, if I'm with friends and we're like out and about and like kind of goofing off, to me it's like Big B or Dunkin' Donuts is more of like the grab coffee, let's go to the beach, you know?
And it's cheaper.
Whereas if Brad and I are like, ooh, let's go on a coffee date, then we're going to go to Starbucks or we're going to go to Revive, we're going to go to Woods.
Environment for me is key too. Like
Clifford.
For you guys, like you didn't know it, but every like time that I would prepare a message for Amplify, I would always go to a coffee shop. And a lot of times I was mixing up the different coffee shops that I would go to in the area. So I've actually gone to most of them, or quite a few of them. But I feel like even the environment is what really draws me back to a certain place. Because I'll be like, man, that environment was just really quiet. I felt like it was laid back. So, yeah.
Charlotte had asked where I shop for clothing. TJ Maxx is a big one for both of us.
And Marshalls.
So like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, a little bit of Ross, Sierra Trade and Post. Those are all sister stores. But really, in all honesty, where I shop for clothes is any clearance rack in any store.
That's true.
But TJ Maxx is our go-to.
That's where I get like almost all my shirts.
That's where I get a lot of my stuff too. Josh says that he needs a life because he's thinking too much. He came up with theories on existing of other worlds, parallel universes, interdimensional beings.
Josh, I'm pretty sure that just happens in general for you, whether it's a quarantine or not a quarantine.
They're all doing like all these like theoretical questions, and I'm just skipping past some of them. I'm trying to catch up on questions to kind of catch up to where we're at.
I mean, we may want to jump into our game soon.
So that's what I'm. Cadbury eggs are also really good.
Cadbury eggs?
Yeah, the little purple eggs that you can get like around Easter time, and then you bite into them and they're full of like cream.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Those are really good.
Let's do like one more question.
The pressure's on. I'm scrolling quickly. I like Josh's question. It's for you, though. He said, Brad, what is the most embarrassing thing that you did during the years that you and Bri were just dating? What's the most embarrassing thing that you did when we were just dating? I'll let you think on that, and I'll see if there's any other questions.
No, man.
That's a really good question, though.
I didn't do anything embarrassing.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't know. I feel like those types of things I try to blot out of my memory, so I just don't remember them anymore.
I'm trying to think if I can think of, like, embarrassing things. There's definitely been embarrassing things that have happened where we've been, like, had to just laugh it off.
But I can't think of them.
Do you guys ever have that where you have, like, an embarrassing moment and it's, like, so embarrassing that you just, like, permanently erase it from your mind? What were the embarrassing moments?
Oh, I can think of one.
Oh? Is it shareable?
It was... I don't know if it's shareable. But
Go for it. Go for it.
No. It was at Moody. At the parking garage.
Oh.
But I don't know if I want to share that one. But that would probably be the most embarrassing.
Yeah.
Maybe that we're gonna save this story because I feel like this story could apply to eventually one of our messages that we made.
So I'll just give a brief alternate story, not all the details and getting into the whole story. But basically there was a really awkward, embarrassing moment. We were engaged at this point, but we were on a Christian campus where like they have a lot of rules and like regulations and what you can and can't do, and Brad was having a really rough week because he worked one of his IT jobs where he worked like 80 plus hours in a week and barely slept and was super exhausted. And what we found out later was that he also had pulled his back out really bad. And so we just wanted to get off campus and like go for a walk. And he had been on campus so much around so many people, and he's an introvert. So we were trying to like slip away from people and just like take a breather and not be bombarded with people all the time. So we're like, oh, where's a place that we can go that's safe? Because it was at night in Chicago where you don't really want to be out on the streets all the time. We're like, well, we'll just go out to the parking garage and just take a breather, look at the city, be on our own. Well, then later we found out that one of the many rules in Moody's regulations that we didn't know was that you're not supposed to be like lingering in the parking garage. And so the public safety from campus showed up and like we were like, oh, sorry, we didn't. Took us off and, like, we were like, oh, sorry, we didn't know that we weren't supposed to be out here. Our bad. Like, we'll totally go back to campus. But they acted like we were like these horrible criminals, and they like had to make up this whole report of like we were caught in the parking garage, and we were like, we're really sorry. We just were trying to get off campus and didn't want to get mugged or something. And so it was super, super embarrassing because they acted like we were like horrible people, and
yeah.
It was really humiliating. So that was probably for both of us like one of our most embarrassing moments. But it's all in the past. Yeah. And it was like just a big misunderstanding. Like we had read through all of the school rules, but that was one that we must have skipped over or didn't quite see. And so yeah, that's kind of our most embarrassing moment.
Okay, let's move into our game.
I'm sorry if there's questions you asked that we didn't get to. I was like
save those questions because every week we ask the same.
But yeah, seriously, if you think of fun questions, save them for next week. They're all laughing. I'm just seeing their response to our story. They're like, yeah, Brad, eventually, maybe, but for now, all those messages might never happen because of COVID. Nice excuse, though.
Could be the starting opening message for the fall.
Yeah, they're like doing all these like riddles to each other. So
good. Okay,
cool.
Let's do it.
They asked when my due date is. When's my due date?
July 13th.
Yes, July 13th. So we are now like 7 weeks. Mm-hmm. 6.5 weeks away. Mm-hmm. That's pretty close.
Okay, move into the thing.
Yeah, we got a game.
43 minutes, all right. Okay, hold on.
Yes, Megan, good job. You're right. July 13th is my due date.
This is for you. Because I'm not letting you do it on my back with nothing.
No, I have to. Because you're supposed to feel it.
Then we're not doing Sharpies.
Okay, let me find a marker then real quick.
Okay, I'll explain the game while Bri really quick grabs it. Basically,
how about I use a highlighter?
No.
If I use a pen, it's going to stab through the paper.
Fine, you can do that one. But
I
no
can
Sharpie.
use a dry erase marker.
No Sharpie. Okay, so basically the way that this game is going to work is that it's a Pictionary between people. What was the name? Do you know? Remember the
I don't know
name
if it actually had a name.
Okay, So how it's gonna work is that
Pictionary.
yes, we'll name it that. That sounds good.
So
basically, for this game, the way it's gonna work is that one of us will be drawing on the other person's back a certain picture, but then I or Bri, whoever's getting it drawn on their back, is gonna have to figure out how they're drawing it and then draw it on another piece of paper. And then basically we'll see whether the drawing that was drawn is the same as what the other person is doing.
Yes, Matthew, this is what your mom suggested.
So, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab my... Do you want to start with me having it drawn on my back? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Brad doesn't want me to draw with Sharpie on his back.
Make sure that they can see it.
So I'm going to use a highlighter.
Wait. Can they see this?
Yes.
Is that in their way?
Okay, I think they can see if we do it this way. Okay. So, the first one, I'll just think of something, but if you guys think of something that I can draw, then you guys can say it in the comments, or like one that Brad or I can draw. We'll say it in the comments. And then we'll go with that. Okay. So, you ready?
Yeah.
They can't really see what I'm drawing because the yellow is so bright.
What? Can you redraw that? I didn't feel it.
They can't see the highlighter, so it's just a mystery. They can kind of see what you're drawing.
What the crap? I'm doing now.
Oh, I stabbed. Are you done? Okay, you done?
Yeah.
Ready?
Did you draw my shirt?
Nope, you're good.
Yeah. Okay.
This was my drawing, guys.
Hey, actually, it's not too bad.
So I was going to draw a flower, and then I changed it into something with big ears later.
I mean, mine looks more like a bee, and yours looks more like a...
I was going for a bunny with really big ears.
Okay. But that's not too bad. Like, I mean, I kind of got the concept. I definitely was drawing it like this. But that's okay.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm going to use the black Sharpie on that one, though.
Okay, flip-flop it.
See it a little bit better.
Yeah, Megan's like, oof.
That's why I have other papers.
Okay, there we go. And then let me go ahead, grab the non-permanent marker.
It is tricky. Okay, I'll get my hair out of the way.
Okay, ready?
I'm making sure they can see what I'm drawing here.
All
right.
Let's wait. If you want Bri to draw a certain thing really quick, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to post in something. So if you want a certain thing drawn, hey, don't be looking.
Oh, sorry. That's a good point.
Oh, okay. All right. I like this one. I'm gonna do this one. Okay, ready?
Yeah. Whoa, I'm dropping my clipboard here.
Okay, one more. Go. All right, there we go. Good job.
All right.
You guys ready for it? So this is what we drew.
Aha! That makes sense.
This is what Bri drew. Amplify logo. That's the 2020 version.
2020 Amplify logo, guys. It's just really abstract.
Hey,
Okay.
This one didn't actually look too bad. It actually turned out pretty good. Yeah, yours was definitely, once you started connecting it all again, it was like, yeah, it's not a box anymore. All right, my round. Ooh, this has two sides to it.
Yep. Fat side and the skinny
went
side.
all over me. Okay.
All right, guys, if you have something you want me to draw on Brad's back, let me know real quick.
Here we go.
I said, Bri, I like your original Amplify design better.
Make sure I can see it.
Ooh, yes. I like this one.
Okay.
All right. I think it's Chloe Elmer.
You might want to come to the other side so that way they can see a picture.
See you, but I'm not left-handed.
I know, I am left-handed though. Okay, ready?
Brad, Christopher. Okay. Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh. Can you redraw that? Sorry.
They can't see what I'm drawing because I'm not using a Sharpie. I don't know if I need to do much more to it.
What?
Like, well, okay. Oh my goodness, you guys, I wish you could see what I was actually drawing and that it wasn't just highlighter. Okay. I think I'm gonna just call it good for now.
Okay, I'm gonna just add this because I think it's that. There we go.
Okay, guys, this is Brad's artwork. Is it me on my belly? Is that what that is? The art that we were drawing today was coffee.
What?
This is my coffee bean. And that's my mug of steaming hot coffee. So you were actually doing pretty good when you had this whole thing going on and you had like some lines coming up. I was like, okay, I got that. And then your coffee bean turned your cup of coffee into a person balancing on their big belly. No, it's not
a person. It's like a dinosaur. See his little rib cage here, and then his little spine's coming off of his back, and his legs are coming down right here onto the ground, which is below. But he's kind of like he's a dinosaur that has a little bit of like, he's like a serpent almost because he's got his little tongue. You see it?
Yeah, very interesting.
See, they love it. They think this is good. Hey, guys, I'll even go ahead and I'll sign it off.
All right, if you guys want Brad's artwork, let us know. He can mail it to you, signed artwork. That is too funny. Okay, well, it is 1:55.
Wow.
One more.
Let's do one more because that'll be that.
Yep.
And then wrap it all right.
And then we'll wrap it up there.
All right, here we go. Send it in. What do you want Bri to write?
No, you're writing.
Or what do you guys want Bri to try to figure out? There you go. Here's your Sharpie.
Oh, thank you.
Let's see. Okay. All right, I think I like this one. I'm gonna do this one. Maybe. Some of these are not easy for me. Okay, wait. I got a good one.
Okay.
I got a good one.
You ready?
Okay,
whoa, you're knocking over.
Sorry, try. Okay, here we go.
Let's do it. All right, a line here. And 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 we're going to add a line here. And this feels cool up there. You're just doing lots of lines back there, bro. I don't even know what you're doing anymore. You're like going so light, I can't even feel it.
Sorry. There it is.
Okay.
And then.
Cheater, you moved the paper. Now it's all in different places.
No, sorry.
I think I've given up at this point. All right.
There it is.
Okay. I totally gave up because I couldn't feel you 90% of the time because you were trying not to poke through the paper. What is that?
It's a tree. Or a leaf. Or whatever you want.
A tree.
It's supposed to be a tree.
All right, guys, what do you think of my tree?
Yours looks like a...
So all I could feel is the fact that you were doing like repeat lines.
Yeah.
But you kept moving the paper, so the lines kept going in different places.
No, the paper stayed it stayed the entire time until the very tip.
Yeah. Well, then I got messed up.
You gave up too early.
All right, guys. Well, clearly art is not our forte in life. There's a reason we studied ministry and not art.
Yeah, they didn't even do an art class at school, so I didn't even get taught how to do it. So
yeah, even in high school, I could choose between choir and art, and I chose choir. So I studied like vocal artistry rather than this.
My dream. All right, guys.
Okay, guys.
Thank you so much for joining. Again, next week we will be back on Wednesday. Don't show up for the meeting on Sunday because we won't be showing up for the meeting on Sunday. But again, you'll get the text or you'll get the email from Bri kind of giving more info on what the next couple of weeks are going to look like. Other than that, I don't know. I don't think we have anything else.
No. If you need us, let us know. Contact us. This weekend we'll be pretty much out because we're going to be doing our own stuff over the weekend, the long weekend. But we'll be back around Monday night-ish, Tuesday-ish. Not sure exactly what the plan is there. But, yeah, we love you guys.
We'll see you later.